Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here with a very red, white, and blue broadcast. I thought it would be kind of unique to start the show with a little bit of flavor, if you will. Look, this one is going to be about hoaxers, trolls, liars, the mentally ill, and true monsters among us, because I think it's time to address those that do not act in good faith when we are dealing with some of the most disturbing, disgusting, and controversial subjects out there. And of course, I am referring to child abuse and child trafficking. And if you've been paying attention to the broadcasts I've been doing recently, two of the subjects that I've been highlighting are the Shady Hook case and Isaac Kappy. And I've got to tell you guys, I was extremely disturbed at some of the comments and really accusations that were thrown out about both events, not only on my YouTube channel, but on my personal Facebook and on Twitter. So I wanted to address one of the biggest hoaxes out there that concerns hopium and the QAnon nonsense, okay? And that is the quote-unquote dead man's switch. Now, for those that are not familiar with what a dead man's switch is supposed to be, this is supposed to be a life insurance policy for somebody who may have information on other individuals who are powerful. And supposedly what you do is you set up some kind of a server or a service where you have to check in every so often, whether it be weekly or monthly, etc. And if you don't, your information, videos, photographs, whatever, documents, is then let onto the internet to expose those who may have done you harm. And I heard so many people talking about Epstein's dead man switch and John McAfee's dead man switch. And of course, Isaac Kappy and his dead man's switch. And shortly after Kappy committed suicide, and he committed suicide, folks, I read some very, very, very disgusting and disturbing, total disinformation where people were trying to say that he was murdered and put into the back of a car, bludgeoned to death, and then put there. None of that happened. That's all made up. Those are trolls or mentally ill individuals. But when Kappy died, all of a sudden, this video of young girls in what seemed to be some kind of a bathhouse with men surfaced, and so many people said, Kappy's dead man switch, it's happening. It's happening. Remember that? It's happening. Nothing ever happened because there are no dead man switches. It is a hoax. It is ridiculous. Let me just talk to you a little bit about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Jeffrey Epstein was one of the most powerful child abusers and traffickers and blackmailers that we know about in our recent history. And I will assure you, there was no way that they were going to arrest him unless they had secured all of the criminal material that was out there, okay, showing other people that he had blackmailed. Period. That they're just too powerful. The man was working with intelligence services. Not only that, but he didn't kill himself twice. The first time that he supposedly tried to kill himself, Epstein's lawyer went public and said that Epstein himself had told him that his cellmate, Nicholas Tartiglione, tried to strangle him. Now, Tartiglione, through his lawyer, of course, denied this. The New York Post had reported prior to that incident that Bill Barr had visited the prison. Of course, that gets a fact check, but Has it been disproven? Bill Barr has assured us after watching the videotapes. Remember, the videos weren't available after the first suicide attempt, and then the videos weren't available after the second suicide attempt. But Bill Barr assured us after he saw the evidence, there's no doubt that Epstein killed himself. Now, fast forward to Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell would have never stood trial if she had access to the photographic and video evidence that they had compiled over decades. That's not how the system works. There is no dead man switch, and there will never be a dead man's switch. Anyone selling you on that is selling you hopium. There is no hopium here at the Info Warrior and with the Bermas Brigade. There is only reality. Now, these are the same people that will try to tell me, for instance, that no planes hit the World Trade Center. That was another huge trolling operation for those that questioned the military war games that were going on. The fact that they were drilling planes hitting the building. Okay? The CIA, in conjunction, I believe, with the NRO, on the morning of 9/11, was running a drill of a plane hitting their building. Throughout the entire 9/11 attacks, there were many what they called phantoms that day. You got the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the time during the 9/11 Commission admitting that. We put it in Fabled Enemies. Anybody can watch it. So they're chasing all these other hijackings that weren't really taking place. That's a reality. No planes and unreality. And more people are trying to spread these videos they say came out last year and it doesn't show a plane. Bullshit. Those videos were available less than 48 hours after the attacks, and they had the planes in them. Very easy to digitally remove things, especially in this day and age. Wouldn't even take me an afternoon. Okay, probably take me less than an hour with render time to take a 30-second video and 5 seconds of it that's probably at like 15 to 30 frames a second. Take out whatever I want. Adobe is a powerful, powerful tool. And I find it repugnant and disgusting that there are actually those out there that would promote this stuff knowingly because they get their rocks off on it. And that's what QAnon was. I truly believe that the QAnon sense started somewhere at DEF CON with the cicada trolls. All right? And the person that was heading up that organization at the time is a sociopath. He's a disgusting human being. I believe it when my sources tell me that he was playing 23 with Cappy. Period. Okay? Unfortunately, there are people out there that have failed time and time and time and time again with real human relationships. So real human relationships mean nothing to them. Their own endorphins, right? Their own joy and happiness is derived from hurting people, fooling people, tricking people, abusing people. And that is disturbing and disgusting. And we have monsters walking among us every single day. You know, I got into it with somebody that was a friend on Facebook, claiming that the videos of Isaac Cappy, the dash cam and body cam footage, were faked. He never watched those videos. He probably didn't even know they existed. Oh, like they couldn't have been faked. Did you watch them? Here's the deal. If you're going to make extreme claims, extraordinary claims, you better have extraordinary evidence to back them up. Everything else is just speculation, and you should acknowledge that. So get your questions and comments in. We're going to go to them in a moment. Yes, it's the red, white, and blue AMA. But before that, what I would like to do is just show a couple of examples of how monsters truly walk amongst us. And this is a very, very disturbing story, but one I felt like I should cover. Illegal immigrant is charged with kidnapping and double murder after drugged girl, 12 years old, chewed through her bedpost restraints, escaped and led cops to the chopped up bodies of her mother and her 14-year-old brother in the Alabama home she lived in. Wow. That is just, most of us can't even imagine that. And yet it happened. And things like that happen all the time because there is a certain sect of the populace that, once again, doesn't feel the same way you and I do, doesn't act the same way you and I do. Evil exists. Okay, a lot of people always ask me what my religious beliefs are and whether I'm this or that, and I tell them always, the one thing I can assure you of is that good and evil do exist on this planet. They are forces, and I am trying to be a force for good. And this next story, which again is horrific and monstrous, to me even goes to a deeper level of those that would not just harm individuals, but harm society so that individuals are harmed. And what am I talking about? Haunting moment, father races to New Orleans house to try and rescue his children from their mother after she sent him a video saying she'd killed them, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And she tried to stab them to death. The daughter, unfortunately, did not survive, and the son is fighting for his life. This man ran to that house, broke a window, jumped in, grabbed his children, and got them to a hospital as quickly as he could. And I feel for this guy. And, you know, I really believe that with this mother, and why do I talk about people hurting others on a mass level? Do you think she wasn't all meted up? Do you think she wasn't on SSRIs? You know, we've carried that story in one of the few outlets that talked about it, that SSRIs do nothing for your depression. But they sure do disassociate you from reality. They sure do cause a lot of people to have homicidal and suicidal thoughts and actions, and yet our society continues to promote them. They're on television all the time. These are the real things that we have to fight against. And I've got to sit there and watch these disingenuous monsters out there accuse me of being controlled opposition and accuse me of being a shill and tell me that Q got it right on so many things. Not one thing did Q get right. And if anybody out there who has promoted the Q and nonsense would like to come on and debate, and I'm talking about anybody with a channel out there and a following and still believe in this stuff and promoting it and saying it's real, bring it on. Bring on the David Wilcox of the world, and I will truly eviscerate them because they're liars. They're grifters. There are so many people out there that want the sensational headline. They want the movie script, not the reality script, okay? In fact, last night, when I was doing my interview with Grand Theft World, some of you may have watched a 30-minute excerpt here on YouTube, but you can find the entire thing of almost 90 minutes over at Rockfin and Rumble right now. They're basically talking about how all of this stuff had come to fruition, and it never did. Okay, it just never, ever did. And then on top of that, well, they were playing a video of mine that I had done almost 4 years ago now on deep research and shady hook, right? They're saying, oh, this is boring. This is boring, Jason. Well, I'm sorry that real information is boring you. I'm sorry factual information I'm going down isn't entertainment. I will admit that obviously when I make a documentary film or I present information, no matter how horrifying, I try to make it as palatable or entertaining as possible. But this shit ain't entertainment to me. Okay? I wish I was doing something in the actual entertainment field because the world was a great place. It's not. It can be. We all choose our own destinies. We all really create our own realities, right? We've gone over that document, the gateway process. I would encourage people to check that out if they're unaware of it. But the reality of the situation is when you're dealing with complex issues and events, Sometimes it's not going to be entertaining, or it's not going to be bombshell enough when you're dealing with the real thing. So, that being said, guys, we're going to go to your questions and comments. Thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Remember, $9.99 a month or $99.99 for the year over at Rockfin. That really helps me out, and you get everybody's premium content. Max Blumenthal, Frank's Analysis, Kim Iverson, Sloan Newsday, AM Wake Up, The Convo Couch, Nico House, and so many others. Consider it, or consider buying me a coffee down below. 5, 10, 15 bucks. It absolutely means the world to me. So let's get into it. Let's get to your questions and your comments here right about now and go down the line. What it do, what it don't. Any updates on the Utah thing? Right now, I do not have any updates on the Utah thing. I would go to The Conscious Resistance, The Last American Vagabond. Derek Bros does excellent work. And more than likely, when I get back to Iowa in a couple of weeks, I will be reaching out to both of them to get them on the program, and Derek especially, to go over this Utah scandal that allegedly involved ritualistic child abuse. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't want to get into the darkness of that because there's so much of this darkness. I just want a little light. The Bermas Brigade on point. Thank you so much. Hello to you too. Hello everybody. Happening Big J. Hey, bitches. How you doing, Riley Rage? Thumbs it up. Yes, there are trolls everywhere. Blue Unicorn, I'm glad you're present. I hope you liked the blue intro. Right now, guys, again, it's a red, white, and blue AMA. All right, let's keep going back down. Present, a great deal of trafficking starts with mom. Listen, you're not wrong, unfortunately. There are sick people out there. There are parents that traffic their children. You know, I did a video about the Menendez case, I don't know, 1, maybe 2, maybe more years back, where in my generation, the Menendez brothers, who claimed that they were sexually abused by their father and their mother did nothing and, you know, essentially, you know, brutally murdered them, they were largely ignored. They were always treated like the victim. Well, what if they were telling the truth? Should they have, you know, basically been treated the way they were? I saw an open secret tweet out today how the Supreme Court, I believe it was during the 80s, had ruled 5-4 that you could no longer give the death penalty to child rapists because it was cruel and unusual. I don't agree with that. I'm not even really a death penalty guy, and I would rather see them in prison for the rest of their lives to suffer than do that to them. But if we are going to have capital punishment, the harshest punishments should be for those that abuse children. And if you don't agree with that, we're not going to agree on a lot. Never actually seen a dead man switch actually pulled because it's not real, because it's Johnny nonsense. God bless you, Jason. There was with JFK's body. What do you mean? I don't are you talking maybe a switch out, but certainly no evidence after JFK died that all of a sudden all this information was revealed. Yes, God bless Jason. I'm blue. Dabu dee dabu da. Babu bee babu ba. Switch equals COVID. Nope, that's not what we're talking about. Still waiting for those arrests, QAnon nonsense. Exactly. What the, are we auditioning for a blue man group? Now, you know what? I've been on the road, and obviously this is like a makeshift studio. The color's kind of been off on my broadcast. I'm not in love with the camera I'm using. The camera I'm using is actually great, but it's more for a wide shot with multiple people, and the other one's more of one person on. So I just thought I'd have a little bit of fun. There was a different corpse in JFK's coffin. That's why it was closed. I don't know anything about that, my friend. I can just say that. I have no idea. Blue Unicorn Group. Violet Blue Beauregard Bermas. Jason Violet Beauregard Bermas. Jeez. Blue Bermas. Any predictions for the next 6 months, Jason? I really enjoyed your interview with Stuart Hooper. You should get him back on soon. You're not wrong. Stuart Hooper does great work. He's recently done some great work on Bilderberg. He sent me that article. That should have been something I covered more. But I will get him back on. Absolutely. And as far as predictions in the next 6 months, I don't think there's going to be this quote unquote red wave so many others are predicting. I really think a lot of people are going to be in for a big, big, big disappointment because we haven't fixed our election systems. Until we get rid of all the voting machines, that's all the voting machines, and go back to hand-counted paper ballots and accountability while that goes on, we're not going to stand a chance. We're not going to stand a chance with mail-in ballots. They want to go email. They want to go full digital retizard. You get it? That's what they like to do because it's a command and control system. Smurf JB, wouldn't it be great? One of my, and I miss him. Shout out to my boy Ben Gargamel. He's, he had that look, and man, I haven't seen him in forever. One of my fraternity brothers. Epstein-Barr syndrome. Yikes. There are no dead man switches, and the NWO already run. We're living in the New World Order right now. It's just a matter of how much we can slow them down, which is not much. Game over. We are done. So let me say this. All right. First of all, I'm never going to give up because I believe it's me living my life, being happy, trying to have a family, right? And pushing forward no matter what. That is the true victory against the New World Order. Staying a human being in this push for transhumanism. But as many of you know, even on this Reawaken America tour, if you believe the Bible, okay, and a lot of people go to prophecy and the Bible, etc., we lose. Humanity loses for a very long time. Not only do they institute their global governance, their one world order, but they chip the populace. They give them the mark. We lose. And for some reason, that's just never acknowledged. And I don't think humanity as a whole is going to lose. I think that there are going to be enough of us to push back and hopefully stop this godless dystopian nightmare. And that's not me telling you what to believe or what religion to choose, but I just have to point out that there are so many people out there that still think that we can save our country, and I wish that were true. But as my presentation is going to show at the Reawaken America tour, the deep state, if you will, born classified, the shadow government, continuity of government, has been around for a long time. The military-industrial complex is real, and it has only become more and more and more powerful as technology has gotten better and better, and it's something that we have to acknowledge. Oompa loompa doopa-dee-doo. I've got another story for you. There are no dead man switch in the game. Ask me again, and I'll tell you the same. We are easily entertained, it seems. Sometimes. Let's see. Oompa Loompa. Oh, look at that. There we go. We had a big jump. We're going to bring it back up. Big jump. Let's go right back up. Let's see. Oompa Loompa are orange, you bunch of racists. What? Oompa Loompas are orange, you bunch of racists. Well, they are. They're pretty orange. You're not wrong. Nah, Chris. Jason is taking over the Blue Man Group one day. Well, I'm not very good on the drums or the comedy, and quite frankly, I don't think I'd like to be painted in latex. But that's just me. Maybe that's somebody else's thing out there. Violet, you're turning violet. Ha 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 ha. LOL. Didn't McAfee have a dead man switch? You know, Spain still hasn't given him his body to his wife. Listen, I'm not even sure that John McAfee didn't commit suicide like they said. Did you see what McAfee looked like at the end? I know that he was putting stuff out there and saying he was in good spirits, and his wife, who he admitted was, a prostitute, by the way. And if you've seen what he was into all sorts of really bizarre sexual stuff. And hey, you're an adult, you want to do that stuff, fine. But everybody has their breaking point, right? I'm not so sure that Jean-Luc Brunel didn't hang himself in his prison either. You can make situations extremely uncomfortable for somebody. Can you imagine being a shell of your former self? Almost having no more physical abilities to be a human being? Perhaps being put in a cell with a violent rapist who has their way with you again and again and again, where it just drives you to the point that you'd rather take your life. Now, obviously, that's suicide by coercion and situation on purpose, but it's not out and out murder. I just want to put that out there. It is murder in many regards, and I regard it that way, but we can't act like those things aren't possible as well. We're only getting limited amounts of information. You're not supposed to eat the experimental gumball, Jason. What are you saying? I went Willy Wonka style? Those were not commercial planes. Now, that's a debate we can have. That's a real debate. The G-forces on whatever hit the Pentagon sure don't look like it was a commercial aircraft piloted by an individual, does it? Does it? The video footage I've seen of the second plane hitting the tower sure looks all gray. Just saying. Doesn't seem to be painted the same way that it should be. Now, there are some photographs where you can see some markings on the plane. But again, I'm not sure. But that's a valid question to ask. I think that's one that we should explore. He went home, then blew himself and went to work. Yucca, yucca, yucca. Red, white, and blue, he looks squant to me. Avatar. No children died. Nope. That's not real. See, Grazia, that's not reality. That's totally and completely nonsensical conjecture. Halbig was a lunatic, and I had to deal with somebody that said that the school was decommissioned and abandoned. No, it was not. It clearly wasn't. You know, in the deep research and Shady Hook video that I did several years ago that was played on Grand Theft World, there's plenty of footage inside the school. Not to just suggest that the school was open, to prove the school was open. It wasn't dilapidated, all right? The classrooms were there. Down in the kitchen area, okay, they had fresh bagels in a bag. There's no mold on the bagels. What do you think? Oh, let's plant the bagels. Do you think that they had all of law enforcement just lie? What do you think, they signed non-disclosure agreements? They all went with all those kids dying? Give me a break. Stop it. If you truly believe those things, Grazia D, and you notice how a lot of these people, they have avatars, they hide behind, a picture of somebody else, and they put these things out. If you truly believe that, step one, download all of the files that were publicly available in 2013, including the heavily redacted videos and PDFs, and you're going to find out really quickly that's not true. And two, if you just buy into all these things, you don't want to do actual research on your own, you don't want to look at the source material, you just rather listen to influencers and alternative media personalities and Instagram and YouTube videos, etc., you need to take a step back and really work on your mental health, because it's not healthy mentally to just buy into things because they are against the mainstream narrative. All right. Again, Glenn Greenwald recently talked about this phenomenon where, the establishment lies so much. The mainstream media lies so much. I constantly find myself going in the direction of contradicting them even before I've even looked into the subject matter, and that's dangerous as well. Just want to put that out there. Remember, Bermas, you were wrong about COVID in the beginning days. Not that I'm saying Q was legit. Let's talk about what I got wrong about COVID in the early days. Okay, number one, I got wrong that they were going to shut down the bridges, the access, and quarantine New York City. I got that wrong. I thought they were actually going to do that. I lived in New York at the time. I had a lot of friends that were down there, and in a situation where you had Bill de Blasio openly talking about the Chinese model and locking down and quarantining the city, yeah, I was worried. I was worried. Now, there are other aspects of COVID 1984 that I feel like I got spot on, and I can't talk about them on YouTube or I'll get kicked off. So that's about as far as I can go with that. I'll even say this, I talked about the masking and saying, this is an airborne virus. Masks are going to help only so much, probably minimally, but maybe somewhat. And that's about, those are the two biggest things I got wrong. If you think I got something else wrong, let me know, please. But again, the mainstream narrative still tells you, mask up. I'm in Virginia right now. Okay, I guess I've had it too good for too long out in Iowa. I can't believe how many people are still rolling around with the masks on. It's unreal. It's all over the place, though. BJ Blitz says, Jason Bloomis. Let's see. You the man, Jason. I have all the evidence in the world that you are the man. Oh, well, thank you, Mikhail. I appreciate that. He got smurfed in the parking lot last night. Something sad. That's messed up. People are nuts. Jesus Ufa. Let's see. We're not going to do any of that. Sorry about that. We don't play the F, Marry, Kill game. Holy cow. Don't take the cow's name in vain. What in the holy cow's name is going on around here? Suicide, mass murder pills. Yeah, no, those stories were effed up. Have to agree, Jason, on 9/11 and Q, but don't know about Cappy. Never followed that. Well, Murray Terry, or Terry Murray, I have recently posted my full hour-long interview with Isaac Cappy over at Rumble and Rockfin exclusively. You can also find it on the News for a Change, the subpage of We Are Change, where it was originally published. And I would suggest people see that, because that was actually a taped interview where I was able to edit in other news clips of the things that we were discussing and talking about. And I think that is also extremely important. Again, backing up your evidence, right? Backing up your opinions or your beliefs with evidence is really the only way to go. Just want to put that out there. Disbar activist Judge Maya Gamble. Alex Jones is being unduly persecuted. Everyone with a big voice, please fight for freedom and speech opinions, not against our own rights. Again, I've been lucky enough to host the Fourth Hour recently several times on the Alex Jones Show. I am never censored. And to speak about the evidence stuff, it wasn't the last time, but the time before I was on, Alex Jones started talking about the push for a post-human world. And there's a lot of people that would just disregard that and say, a post-human world, Jason? Come on now. A post-human world? Give me a break. Well, go watch my video, and you'll soon find out that they're trying to bring in the virtual age, and that is where you are supposedly going to upload your consciousness into a matrix-type system. I wish I was making it up. I'm not. We have people like Dennis Bushnell and his Future Strategic Warfare 2025 document that is a pre-9/11 document published in July of 2001 that has laid out the blueprint for the move towards this. And the subpage, as you scroll down, it says, welcome to the bots, Borgs, and humans of 2025. Yikes. Those are trolls. Yes, the maker of loose change is a shill. Okay, I get it all the time. So you're not allowed to have any success in this space either. And anything that's successful is immediately attacked. And look, we weren't perfect, and I've gotten things wrong. But those that would accuse me of being a shill or controlled opposition, they don't know me. They don't know anything about me. They've barely seen my work. They've certainly not seen my films Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find, or Shade the Motion Picture, which, by the way, are available right now, free in the playlist section. Also, at the top of my Rockfin in a nice, neat little stack, thanks to Jaime over at rockfin.com. I want to thank you for stacking those up. So now 2 different places. It is so easy to check out all my documentary films. In fact, you want to support me? You don't have the finances? First thing I want you to do is watch those documentaries. Second thing I want you to do is share those documentaries. Okay? Whether it be in email chains or on Telegram, on other social media platforms. But those docs stand up. And I am extremely proud of that work. And I assure you that that work will in fact outlive Jason Bermas. I mean, we all get one shot at the title. We get one run here, guys. One run. That's it. Down the line. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? I'm not a troll, sweetie. I eat trolls. All right, Riley. Thank you so much. Let's see. Yes, they are so lost. Indeed, they are. Go debate people like Shapiro, not unknown trolls. You think Ben Shapiro would have a chance against me? I long for the day that I get to take on Ben Shapiro. Oh my God. I mean, on foreign policy, he's the worst. I've talked about this before. Ben Shapiro's great, right? Or Milo Yiannopoulos is great when they're going against some social justice warrior that's ignorant of the true history of this country and the world. Okay? They're awesome. They're great. They're hard to stop. I would eviscerate Ben Shapiro in a debate. Bring it on. It would make me so happy. That would be like Christmas to Jason Bermas. I just got off SSRIs after 27 years. Well, Starry Days, let me say this to you. I know it's not easy. I'm going to tell you a really sad story right now. My stepfather has been on SSRIs for a long time, very long time. Last summer, he tried to get off them. He had a breakdown, okay? Now, prior to him trying to get off them, he was literally making posts on social media talking about how he was reliving moments that had happened 30, 40 years ago as if they were happening now. And yet there were times where he couldn't remember 5 or 10 minutes ago. Okay? And unfortunately, he's back on them. And, I wish I had a closer relationship with my stepfather. I wish there was a way for me to reach him. Because during that period last year, he ended up in a mental institution for a little while. He did. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I can only make decisions in my immediate life. And I can only do so much even with those whom I love and I care about. And it breaks my heart. And I pray to God that one day my stepfather is going to be able to get off those things. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I really don't. Gangster AF GTW is lit. Excellent interview with GTF, not GTW. No. It's GTW, Grand Theft World. I love Grand Theft World. Yes, Elisha. And by the way, thank you for letting me know that I had posted that full thing over at Rockfin, but I had put it in stacks instead of everywhere, and that's why it wasn't coming up. But once again, it is available. What the schnuckle fucks is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. It's the red, white, and blue AMA. What do you mean the red, white, and blue AMA, Jason? We blue. We as blue as can be. I should do more of this. I do it every once in a while, but I always get a kick out of it. And by the way, it shows you with this software, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can make some really cool scenes. If I wanted to make myself into like 7 different Jason Bermases and make them like on the sides in different colors, we get really trippy with it real quick. And again, software like this makes it all possible. It's technology that empowers humanity instead of enslaves it. Thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Remember to buy me a coffee or consider the Rockfin Premium, $9.99 a month or $99.99 for the year. Let's keep going down. We're asking Starry how she's feeling these days. I'm hoping she's feeling well. Jason, I've got close friends who say QAnon and Q are 2 different groups. There are a lot of people out there that will try to say, they tried to say 2 things. One thing is that the message board surrounding Q was just kind of an open intelligence operation where people would make threads and put out evidence. Those are just message boards. Okay, they existed well before 4chan, 8chan, Reddit, all that stuff. You go back to 9/11, okay? And let's roll 911.org. There was one about the Pentagon. There were out there. That's a totally different thing. People that say they have information that is secret and secret sources and put out unsubstantiated bullshiz, right? They're not great. People who speak in riddles, right, lines for you to decipher, they're not genuine. It's like your horoscope. You can make it say anything. So I feel bad for those people. They need to come back to reality. We need those people. I'll never forget. I was down in D.C., and it was either in December or January, because I went to both. December, Stop the Steal, January 6th, obviously. And some people were trying to tell me that Julian Assange was safe in Guantanamo Bay, and Trump had done that on purpose. Guantanamo Bay is not a good place. Okay, Gitmo should be gone, gone, gone. In fact, in 2008, when they were having the presidential debates, every single Democrat, from Barack Hussein Obama, a.k.a. Barry Soetoro, to Joe Biden, to Hillary Clinton, to John Edwards, to Richardson, Bill Richardson, the Epstein crony, all of those people had a plan to get us out of Iraq and to shut down Guantanamo Bay. It's still there. It's not the only place. Those sites are disturbing. Abu Ghraib is disturbing and disgusting. We should have never allowed it in the first place, and now it's been normalized. Trump should have shut all of them down. All of them. Black sites are not a good thing. Torture is not a good thing. Okay? Talk about losing our soul as a nation. My God. People are zombies for Pop-Tart culture. Yes, they are. They are very often are, unfortunately. Grand Theft World is great. I've been a fan of Grove since 9/11 Synchronicity. He's done great work there. Tragedy and Hope. I love Richard Andrew Grove. Really a hard worker. Somebody who really is putting the information out there. Why are you complaining about unknown trolls? You don't need to justify yourself. Just get the word out to as many people as possible. It's not so much that I'm complaining. I'm trying to make people aware, because every time I put up something that's controversial about those type of issues, they infiltrate. They're all over. You go to my Facebook page. You see what the people that aren't my friends, that just jump in and have these things to say, they're pushing a narrative. They're pushing bullshit, and it's dangerous. Okay, that's the real fake news crowd, aside from the mainstream media, of course. Just here for the Kool-Aid. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Watch your interview with Isaac Cappy. Too bad he matters, and might have known that fully. Look, that shit was tragic. I remember the day I found out that Cappy had committed suicide. I got a sick feeling in my stomach. And I actually did a video, I think it's called Don't Lose Yourself, where I kind of just took 10 minutes to send him off with a real eulogy, right? And say, this is what happens when you get caught up in delusional thinking. Because I think he was a good person. I think he was trying to be genuine. And I think that those he surrounded himself with had other plans for him. These are the real things we have to fight against. You then speculate the murder of the mom was on drugs. Pure speculation. She obviously wanted to destroy the father. The problem is single motherhood. I would disagree. Even if she wanted to destroy the father, how many instances prior to the SSRI movement did you have where families were either killed by the mother or the father and then a suicide afterwards? I always point people to Phil Hartman, for instance. Okay, and you're right, Rev. I totally said that was speculation. But how much you want to bet that mother was on some SSRIs? When I talk about Hartman, Phil Hartman was one of my favorite comedians of all time. His life cut short. He was great on The Simpsons. And his wife shot him in the head while he was sleeping, realized what she has done, and then killed herself. How many times when you hear about a dad, and I see it all the time, A dad killing his wife and their children and then turning the gun on himself. How many times did they report the drugs he was on? How many times are we talking about the drugs that these kids are on when they shoot up schools? Uvalde comes to mind. What kind of drugs was he on? Nothing? Really? I don't know. We have Flavor Aid. Kool-Aid doesn't mask the flavor of the black pill so much. By the way, I've done a don't drink the Kool-Aid on the Jim Jones case in Jonestown because the vast majority of those people were actually shot to death. They didn't drink the quote-unquote Kool-Aid, but it wasn't even Kool-Aid. I believe it was Flavor Aid, the knockoff brand. We're going to take a couple more questions, and then we're going to get out of here. Remember, you can support the broadcast via the links below or making that premium Rockfin subscription. Kool-Aid doesn't mess. Oh, I'm sorry. You talk about NASA and DARPA and how they have plans for our future, transhuman, etc. Who are the Chinese, Russian counterparts, and what are their plans? Same plans. Same plans. And Russia recently said they have their own DARPA that's even better than our DARPA. Take that as you will, but they're the ones that are openly talking about with the head of their space agency that they could nuke all NATO nations within 30 minutes. So I believe that there are certain technologies out there that are going to remain underground because the predator class isn't American or Russian or Saudi Arabian or Israeli. They don't give a flying flickelschnick about nation states other than how they can utilize them for their push forward. I believe at the highest levels, okay, these are generational, nepotistic families of a predatory class that want to take human evolution into their own hands and are utilizing all of those nation states and all of those government bureaucracies and all of these new technopolies towards that goal. You know, we had somebody talk about the Belt and Road Initiative and my opinions on that. And the Belt and Road is just another flavor of the New World Order, okay? Putin's got his own plans for a New World Order. Xi Jinping's got his own plans for a New World Order. But they're all pushing for it. You better believe it. Jan Isherwood says, hey! Trey Gowdy even had take on Shady Hook surprised me, and it wasn't good words for Jones. Trey Gowdy's not the greatest, is he? I mean, yikes. Got a Fox News job. I feel like I'm coming out of the disassociation and numbness, learning how to think and feel again. Thank you for asking. It's not been easy. I'm sure it has in Starry Days, and this is the person that was coming off of the SSRIs. Stay strong. Try to fill your day. Try to have goals, right? Goals that maybe are tough to accomplish, but you can get there. I would also say that physical exercise does wonders for mental health. I don't know that there's just one easy answer. I don't think there's any kind of easy answer. I think we all have to work on ourselves. And I think that the more value we give ourselves because of the things that we're achieving and accomplishing has a lot to do with who we are. Folks, I am going to wrap it up there. I'm going to say it one more time. This is a red, white, and blue, a red, white, and blue AMA. You want to support the broadcast, the links are down below. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. You can buy me a coffee right now, or you go to Rockfin and at least make that free account on Rockfin. Follow me there. Share the videos. Check out the documentary films. Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, Shade the Motion Picture, my 9/11 films, Loose Change Final Cut, and Fabled Enemies. And remember, it's not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. And now, more than ever, is the time to become the great resistance to this very real, repackaged New World Order Great Reset agenda. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip side.